Hi, welcome back to welcome back to Grit Gym. Megan just got introduced to the electric fly swatter. So she's going a little nuts here. But this is Megan Valencia. Megan Valencia is a mom. She's a musician. She's a massage therapist. So we're going to get into a little bit of her journey through exercise, what she's learned being a mom, what she's learned being a musician, how she fits all of that stuff into her day-to-day life, because that's pretty amazing. Because that's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, like, you look at, like, being a mom, like, that's, like, the ultimate responsibility. Probably the biggest job in the history of the world. But then you're going to go ahead and just throw on, oh, I'm going to attach being a musician onto this, too. You know what? I'll give, like, 6 massages every single day for 90 minutes.
It's not quite that many, but yeah.
But just, like, can you kind of introduce yourself to the viewers of the show? Not everybody that I know you work out in the mornings with a bunch of the gals out here, but
Yeah.
go for it.
I am Megan Valencia, and I'm a mom of an 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old girl, and a 5, almost 6-year-old boy. And they do take up the majority of my time. I would say that is my first full-time job as the mom.
Yeah.
I've been practicing massage for 16 years in the state of Iowa with a license, pretty much full-time except for just a couple maternity leaves, which were pretty short. But I love doing massage therapy, and I run a business out of my home, which is really fun and rewarding. And I work out every day at Grit Gym with a group of amazing ladies. I'm in the 8:30 group, so I used to do 5:30 really early in the morning.
Like a true psycho.
I love a bunch of those 5:30 in the morning people.
Look at this one.
Just had it
We're
on
going
my
to get rid
eyeball.
of this one fly that's buzzing around in here at some point here.
And
Missed him.
that's distracting.
I know it is. Well, he's distracting.
I've played piano since I was 4 years old, and I'm in a band where I play organ and like a Wurlitzer kind of sound.
What's the name of the band?
The Bamboozlers, and we're out of yay! We're out of Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, and yeah, we play. We've got a new CD out with about I think 10 originals on it that we just wrote this past winter.
Nice.
And we don't play much in the winter. We do a lot of rehearsing in the winter, but we play all summer long. So we just got done playing all summer long.
Very cool.
Lots of weekends, many babysitters. My husband is in the band with me. I've been married for how many years now? 14 years to my beautiful husband, Billy Valencia. And
He's a pretty guy. He's pretty fellow.
he's very good looking.
All right, so with massage therapy, we'll get. I'm gonna jump around in here though. Like, what was the start of that? Like, why was it important for you to get into massage therapy?
Good question. I got into it because I was doing a desk job at the time. I had gone
That sounds
into
awful.
I know. I had gone into 4-year school. I'm really fast at typing, so the job I could get on the side was data entry kind of stuff or mailroom stuff, and it was horrible, and it was, bad for my body, and I wasn't doing very many active things at the time, and so I was interested in multiple things in college and jumped around interest-wise a lot, and I couldn't really come up with anything other than being a professor and continuing to study something really interesting, which is ultimately kind of a desk job. So
yeah, I was gonna say, like, that would just lead you back to the point that
desk.
you were.
Yeah. So
nothing. Like, I kind of laugh there, like making it sound like I'm like making fun of being a professor. Like, being a professor would actually be pretty cool.
That's an amazing job.
But sitting at a desk or like doing research, like, I don't know. No.
Yeah, I think I realized early on that I am the kind of person who needs to move a lot, and I move all day from the minute I get up until I lay down at night and fall asleep, and I don't do very much sitting in between.
Too. Like, you go.
I'm a goer girl.
Yeah.
I move all the time.
I think that's why we get along pretty well. Like you're that like type A, like go. I am like that too. Like you just like you go until you basically fall down, then you go a little bit more, and then you're like, okay, time for bed, I'm out.
Yep, and I feel good about it. I'm like, that was my day. That rocked.
Yeah, do you think like just having that kind of mindset or that kind of like just intrinsic like push, like do you think that if you tried to dampen that it would almost, like if you tried to go slow all day long, do you think it would just like be like miserable?
I think so. I think that there's probably balance to be had that I'm not as good at. I need to probably sit more when I eat, kinds of things. Like there are times during the day.
Where you're just kind of running and shoving it in, sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, definitely we're with my kids' age right now, just running. I don't think there's any other way to do it.
Noah's 8?
He's 5, she's 8.
Yeah.
They're just about to have birthdays.
Yeah, and you're going to be like that until they have a driver's license.
Yeah, but I already can tell less and less time with them. You know, they used to require each and every of their needs met by me all the time.
I suppose, I mean, as they go along, you should probably have much less time with them.
Yep.
Like at this point, they need to be out there like climbing trees, like going out and doing stuff, figuring out how to socialize with other kids without the protection of the parent around.
Yep.
You know,
with us nearby, so we can swoop in if we need to, but they're out there trying all the things, which is what we want them to do before we send them out in the world. They need to practice.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing right now. I was listening to a psychologist the other day talk about it's not helicopter parent. He's not calling it helicopter parenting now. He's calling it the bulldozer parents, and it's the parents that try to protect their kids from everything.
Yeah.
And how it's leading to this this situation where where they're they don't know how to navigate out in the rest of the world, and they think that everything is a threat.
Yes.
And it's pretty nasty on their lives.
It's nasty, and I think it's just, it's this fear-based kind of society we've created over the years with lots of news. Parents are scared. Now we're raising scared kids. We're all probably going to die, and we are dying. We're all dying.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those funny, like you're not going to die. Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
And to not be too hung up on what that is and how.
So getting into the mom stuff, do you have any philosophies around parenting that you think are like super key?
Oh, parenting is the hardest thing I've ever done.
I bet.
I think I do the other things because I feel like, I know what I'm doing.
Sure,
those things. I'm a great musician. I'm really good at massage.
Well, your piano doesn't run away from you and cry,
no,
right? Yeah.
It's not completely unreasonable. Parenting all the time.
That's really funny.
Parenting is really hard.
You press this key, this sound always comes out. It doesn't happen with a kid, I suppose.
It's tough.
Not exactly rational.
Kids are really bad roommates. I think if I have I try to stay very humble in my parenting. Sure. I do not know, and I can use help. Yeah. So if anybody wants to ding in and let me know how to parent right now, feel free. But I think my number one thing I realized kind of early on is that I don't really know what I'm doing, and that whatever I figured out that works really well in this moment is probably just changing right now and not about to be effective ever again. And so it's this behind the ball kind of thing. And as soon as you kind of accept that you're going to be behind the ball, trying to catch up the whole time, I guess, and not making assumptions that you'll be in front of it or that you'll ever completely understand what to do next, that's the correct thing.
It's kind of funny because it's as soon as you figure out, as soon as you think you got it figured out, it's like the kid is on to the next thing, and you're
yes, and they're smart little monkeys. We hope they're smart little, we're trying to make smart human beings. And I remember being a kid and knowing that I knew more than my parents, and it's because they were being, they had their jobs and they had their social lives and they were doing other things. And the only thing we had to do was to figure out how to gain for ourselves. And the only way we could gain was by getting through with our parents, getting our parents or manipulating somebody to do something for us. And so we spent all day manipulating, And so I see my kids are doing that. They're smart. They're getting me. They're working me all the time.
And in two different ways. You've got two very different children.
Yeah, I
they're
do.
not they're not similar, but they have their own autonomy for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Yep.
Are there things that what's it how you parent one is different than how you parent the other?
Oh yeah, and I think that was, we already learned kind of that whatever worked with Nola last month isn't working this month, but then along came her brother, and I was like, okay, I got this baby thing, I've done this before, and he's a completely different baby. And so the second layer of that was realizing, all that stuff that worked with her is never going to work with him. It's a whole different thing.
That's got to be a tough realization.
It is.
It's got to be for real?
Yep.
No.
And so I got there faster though. I was like, okay, so I realized none of that shit's gonna work. So now I'm
I suppose. Yeah, you kind of started thinking concepts instead of details. Going for it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Do you think before and after exercising has changed the parenting atmosphere? Like, has it been like, you know, I have the ability to throw that you threw a wall now. Before it was just a threat.
You're funny. The way that coming to Grit Gym has changed my parenting is the ability to stay more calm with my kids, because I can come and slam a ball against a wall here or against the floor and get a really good burn in here, you know, which I can't, you know, parenting is frustrating because they're unreasonable and they're ridiculous and they're disrespectful, and despite your best efforts, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And so, but you want to stay a calm, good example. I need to act like a grown-up in front of my children. So when they're being unreasonable, disrespectful, all the things they are, I need to resist the urge to be like, ah, at them. And so I have to kind of swallow that a little bit. And then when I come here, I'm like, oh, douche with the ball, and it's great.
Throwing medicine balls. She's talking about throwing medicine balls against the wall, which is a very fun time.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's like surprisingly fun. Like the first time that you did it, where you're like, ooh.
It was, right? And Amy told me, she was like, oh, you're going to love this. We have kids the same age, so I was like, oh, yeah.
There's like, I noticed that with certain people, they'll come in and they're like kind of throw it, and I'm like, it's not an eggshell, like throw the ball, and like you have to almost talk them into like, no, throw the ball hard, like really give it something, and give it the juice, or you know, whatever. And like after a while, they're like, once they really just like let it out, it's like you unleash this beast that was in them. And it was just like, it's really, really cool to see, like people like let out this aggression that like they didn't, not that they didn't know that they had, but that they didn't know that was appropriate. You know?
Or that they didn't know they could get out in a safe way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really safe way to get it out.
Yeah, your body needs to express itself in that power medium. You know, to work really fast like that. You know, that, like training your body in that way is very, very important.
Man, and so to be able to do it that hard and to get all of that out and also do it in a way that's like not hurting my body and in fact helping it is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and on that, like if we can go back a little bit, like what was the initial, like what was the obstacle that you were trying to overcome in the first place?
When I came here?
Yeah, like what were you trying to?
I had been working out by myself with a program a trainer gave me, and it was it was the same thing, you know, because she just very generously wrote me, I think, a really nice program, but then I just did it all the time, same program.
Yeah, you just did the same thing over and over again.
I did it by myself.
So you got really, really good at that program.
I got good at it, and I did it by myself in my basement, and it was no fun. I did not look forward to it.
That sucks.
I took it like medicine, because I had at that point realized that with a body type like mine, and Adam calls me Gumby.
She is Gumby. It's like
I'm pretty mobile.
Like she can seriously probably hold her toothbrush with her toes and brush her teeth. Like she's like so insanely flexible.
I'm too flexible. I'm overly flexible, and that's my problem. And so I'm easily injurable in that way, because I want to go hard. I go hard all day, and so I want to go.
Some people just don't produce collagen the same. You know, like I'm one of those people. Like my skin, like it just. Some people just don't produce that the same way. Like your body just must not produce stiffness where it should.
And bodies are so different. So I had at that point finally figured out that I don't go to yoga, you know, which I had been doing for years. What I need to do.
Adding more flexibility to an already flexible body.
Flexible.
Yeah, you need more stability and more strength and more power.
And there is some strength to yoga, but I needed to really focus on that and make sure that was the focus. And so, and I don't stretch at all, you know, now. So
yeah, it's like just like do some like dynamic movement stuff and get the patterning down. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, and then let's go and get to work.
Yep. And sometimes I roll later, you know, but I usually just don't do.
But so you were trying to overcome, so you were bored.
I realized
and you'd gotten really good at the same program, and then you realized, what were you going to say?
I realized that I needed strength training, was doing this program. It was really boring. I was taking it like medicine. Yeah. And my friend was coming to this gym and told me about it at 5:30 in the morning, and I was like, you're crazy. But I did it.
They are crazy.
It was really fun, actually.
Certifiable.
I know, they're all kind of awake at that hour, too. It's weird.
I know. I taught that class for like many years, and like I think back on that, and I was just like, I'm glad I don't anymore. But.
No, me too. I'm glad. It works better for me.
But then what happened? So like you came in here, we did an assessment. We figured out that you're so flexible, it's insane.
Yep.
And then we, started started getting like build a program and you started getting to work on it, you know, what are some things that have happened since then?
Well, I've started really enjoying working out.
Oh, that's
which is
a huge plus.
Because you know, I don't think I didn't look forward to going to the yoga classes like I look forward to coming here.
It shouldn't be miserable.
It shouldn't be like swallowing a pill, which is what it felt like at home.
It should be like as fun as like eating ice cream or going to a concert or something like that. But like, it shouldn't be like miserable. It should,
no,
like
it's
this
a part
idea
of
that
my
you have
day.
to puke when you go to work out is nuts to me. Like, why?
No. It's a part of my day I look forward to. And there are parts in here where I'm like, this again, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
I did Turkish
you see Turkish get-ups or chin-ups on your program and you're like,
oh, okay, let's just knock this out. But my my friends are here and my trainer's here and it's a tribe. It's fun to be a part of a group. So that's changed a lot. And so I'm working out more because I would swallow that nasty pill 3 times a week at home at most. And I'm coming 5 times a week now and looking forward to it, and I feel really great. I feel really strong.
Show off your guns.
I'm wearing the wrong shirt, but yeah. I have bossy guns.
Don't flex on that shirt. Like you rip the sleeves off.
I know.
Like they just disintegrate. You got to be careful. But yeah, bossy guns. That was. I forgot all about that until you said it this morning, and I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
I feel good. I feel strong. I feel like I can run with my kids. I used to be really careful about my lower back. Threw it out several times in my 20s. Yeah,
well, that's that laxity thing. Like it's so flexible that it just can,
easily just would go out, and then would be a week of severe pain and months of ginger movements.
And that sucks. I've been there. Like I know what you're talking about. Like that
it's brutal.
Sucks.
It sucks, and it sucks to try to climb out of that because there's so much weakness that, it's a dicey thing to try to gain the strength without hurting yourself over and over. So it was a tough time, and so now, in my 20s, before I had my kids, I was like, gosh, I want to have kids, but will I be able to carry a kid?
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Will I be able to chase a kid?
You're talking so much weight that is pulling on a situation like it's just so much on your low back.
I know, in a couple months. It's a structural conundrum. Like your body doesn't get a chance to be like, what's happening?
No, it's a pretty wild process, really, because on top of other things are changing too. It's not just like this big, like you're losing your core structure. You're gaining all this weight right in that because there's a fetus there.
A ton of relaxin. In your system. So your SI joints are now weaker. They're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be. They have to be. Otherwise it's going to hurt way more.
So it's
you're probably not going to be able to push that thing out.
But strength training has made it so I can run after my kids, go all day like I want to, not ever feel worried. I can't remember the last time I felt worried about my lower back going out.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it feels good.
And that's that's the thing I think that people miss out on. Like they look at, like, for instance, a deadlift, and they're like, that's a dangerous exercise.
Right.
It's like, well, yeah, maybe for the person who shouldn't be doing deadlifts, yes. Very, you don't tolerate shear stress in your back very well. Like, no, we need to do a lot of stuff before we get to deadlifts. But if you look at it, you're like, okay, she's using her glute and her hips in a very functional way. She's developing that hamstring. She's producing stiffness in her low back. She's gripping onto something tight so her arms don't get ripped off of her body. And then she's picking it up. Like that is a powerful thing for. And I look at a mom and I'm just like when I see somebody deadlifting, I see a mom picking up her kid.
Exactly.
Like when I see my mom, who's a grandma. I think of her picking up the dead weight that is her grandchildren and taking them to bed when they're at her house. That means.
And you've seen that at her house. She does it correctly. She drives her knees out. She pushes her hips back. She knows how to lift a kid. As a grandma.
She'll take those kids. I mean, and they're not like little kids anymore.
They're bigger kids.
But like she'll pick them up and she'll walk them upstairs. There's it's a 2-story house, so she'll walk them upstairs and put them in bed. She's like what is she, like 61 years old now?
She's a boss, though.
I know. She's bossy for sure. But it's pretty cool. The stuff that strength training really gives you, these intrinsic benefits in the outside of your life, that it's not just about your health. It's not just about not getting injured. It's about everything else that you do. It's not getting better at what's in here. It's everything else that you do.
I'm not injuring yourself doing life after that, because I can, I don't know how many times I hear it a month. Oh, I just lifted this way without thinking, is what I hear over and over is the reason my client is telling me here or wherever. I lifted without thinking. Well, of course you lifted without thinking. We all do everything we do all day without thinking.
Without thinking,
At the gym, I think really hard about it, and I've got Eric standing over me. Oh, you need to, and which I love, and I'm counting on it, paying for it. But you are going to do things the rest of the day without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if you've taught your body to just do these things naturally, the correct way, then you're way less likely to do that thing.
Yeah, and you built armor.
Yeah.
Like, I get a ton of people that, like, I didn't do anything. All I was doing was tying my shoes. All I was doing was sneezing. All I was doing was, the dustpan, like sweeping. It's just like, that's, like, most people don't hurt their back deadlifting because they're conscious and they're right. But, like, it's when you're doing all the other stuff. But if you built up this armor and this ability to, like, your body just knows to turn it on.
Yeah.
Then it can do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Have you thrown a satchel through a wall yet?
No.
That's good. That's good.
No, he's in wrestling, so he's getting it out, on the mat.
Yeah. Speaking of which, can we talk about wrestling a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So before wrestling, what did you think of wrestling? So she's got a 5-year-old boy that had met one of the coaches out here that was a wrestling coach, and what sparks Satchel's interest in wrestling? I guess I should ask you.
He has been to we go to lots of women's basketball games at Carver, Hawkeye.
Very cool.
And
the girls are more fun to watch than the guys, by the way.
I think so. So we've watched.
Not even close. So much more fun.
We go a lot to those games and bring the kids a lot. But Billy has brought Satchel 2 or 3 times, I think, to wrestling. And one time he had like a special ticket, so they got to go into a special room, into like practice room. And,
nice.
And so but for the amount of exposure he got, I think it's just a natural thing,
Yeah.
Because he came back from the wrestling matches just talking a mile a minute about it, super excited.
Yeah.
And then right away he's got big blankets, and he and his sister have made a ring on the floor with blankets, and now they're wrestling each other, and they're trying to use moves. And
I love that so much. It warms my heart, which sounds so weird, but I just think wrestling is just like the greatest sport. Even though I didn't really enjoy it that much when I was there because it's hard.
It's hard.
But it's such an amazing sport. Like, you learn so much about you.
Yeah. Well, I can say before I had a boy that was going to go into any sports, I had an appreciation for it because there's this huge amount of strength and flexibility that I think are impossible to find in another sport. And as a body worker, I'm intrigued by that because it's a conundrum.
Yeah.
You tend to have one or the other naturally, and so to have both, you're clearly working really hard at it.
Get him.
Watch out.
Get him. Oh, man.
But
another day at Grid Gym.
Watch out, Adam.
It's those damn pumpkins, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, but anyway.
So I already had an appreciation for it, but then, of course, I'm also cringing as I'm watching this boy get his knee bent so far back, And so that part of me, as a mom, when I've got this precious baby boy and I'm thinking about what sport he's going to play, I'm like, baseball. Let's have no contact. I don't want anyone to hit him in the head, and cause him brain damage. And I still feel that way about football, for the record. But we went to, parent counseling when the kids were real little and really frustrating. And one of the things that we learned from the child psychologist.
Not to brush over that. I think that is absolutely fantastic. You recognize that this was the most important job that you're ever going to have.
Yep.
And you got help with doing it.
Yes.
I think if I just think that is an excellent thing. It takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to parent. I'm going to get coaching on how to be a better parent.
Yep.
That's absolutely fantastic. But
anyway, it was very, very helpful. And one of the things she told us was with little boys, they have to smash into each other a lot. They have to have lots and lots of physical contact in order for their brains to properly develop. And so he's already got this real serious drive for some wrestling. I definitely don't want him playing football, and I feel like it's a really great way for him to learn how to be strong and flexible, which are 2 really good things. And then the side thing, which I didn't even realize until this past summer when he started really doing it, There's an amazing tribe. Wrestlers are an amazing tribe. The big boys are very helpful to the little boys, very encouraging.
Yeah.
There's none of this, I don't know what the word is, but there's, you're not putting the little guy down or...
Yeah, there's not, it's not a violent hierarchy. Like, there's definitely like it's like a respect-driven sport. I remember one of my best friends was like, we were both pranksters, but he came up behind me in front of everybody and pulled my pants down. And I was like, I was embarrassed, pulled him back up, and his older cousin who was like leading the practice, that wasn't bad, I don't know, it was just kind of embarrassing, you know, like it's little boys like being little shitheads to each other. But his older cousin, it was a senior, and we were like single digits, we were probably like 9 years old. He came up, grabbed Ryan, and goes, "Get him." And I was like, "Ha!" and got him back. But it was like that. It was like this like mutual respect. Everybody kind of, busted each other's guts, and it was like all in good fun, and it was like this very supportive kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the older guys were always there to help the younger guys. It was never like, "Wow, you really suck at wrestling, huh?"
Right.
It was like, "Hey, dude, like when you get in this position, you got to dump them, you got to trip them, you got to, It was always very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's this encouraging sport.
It's a cool space.
Yeah,
which doesn't seem like that, because wrestling seems like this like cutthroat, like I'm gonna choke you out. You know, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, no, I mean it seems like almost an apprenticeship, because in a lot of sports you don't end up having that many levels, and he's in a club, so there's all the levels in the club. Present at once, and so that's hard to find in any sport.
Totally.
You're only with your group of 3 years apart from each other people, or 4, and then you don't get the help and the support and the encouragement of the people who are more successful years and years past you. And so
I'm really glad you said that, because like that's something like I barely even I just brush past. I don't even not that I don't remember it, but
it's a cool thing most sports don't have.
Cool thing. Yeah. And so you were a little apprehensive to wrestling before, but you were interested in it.
I liked
it. And now that he's gotten into it, what do you think now?
I'm into it. I'm happy for him. I think he loves it. He's excited for it. I think he's going to learn strength training and.
It's a little bit of a chess game too.
Yeah.
He's got to really expand his mind to get there, but.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty fun. Like every time when I walk in the room, he's going for a single leg on me, and he's like. Dude,
he's
you're
so excited.
You're like 30 pounds.
He doesn't know that. He thinks he's a big dog.
I'm 240 pounds. Like, you're just such a funny little guy. He's all about it. And I think it's really interesting to watch. Yeah, pretty cool. But, no, I wanted to ask you that, just like what you thought. Like, raising a young boy, getting him in wrestling.
I feel good about it, honestly. I think, if I didn't know what I know, I would have a harder time with it, and still be into baseball. But
if it makes you feel better, wrestling has very, very few concussions.
Yeah.
It's one of the as far as like the concussion thing between football and wrestling, like wrestling basically, in comparison, there's almost zero.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
I think that sport gives him the best shot at having the least amount of really bad injuries that he'll have to deal with for the rest of his life, which I don't want.
Yeah, I would say baseball is probably much harder on a young boy than wrestling is, because you're all one side. Like, you're going to bat from the right, you're going to throw from the right. You have so much laxity as a young kid that you can really hang your arm back.
It's very asymmetrical. I hate that as a body worker.
Yeah,
you need to be a switch hitter.
Yeah, you should probably bat left and throw right, or throw left and bat right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but even so, you're only twisting the one way.
Yeah. I don't like it either.
I mean, I like it, but
maybe you should. There's more and more people. I think there's a couple guys in the minor leagues right now that can throw both ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I think everybody, and this is the geek body worker in me, but everybody should be able to do everything on both sides.
It would make really good sense.
Or the more you can try to do that, the better. Yeah. I get to do that in my job.
Or at least practice a little bit. Like whenever I go golfing, I actually have a left-handed club.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's worth practicing, and I mention it to people who are having repetitive motion injuries on one side from their very specialized job. Yeah. I'm like, well, you can train the other side to do that. They're like, oh, no, it would take me forever. I'm like, well, it would take you forever for the first year. But then I know, because I've been training a not so smart left hand how to do everything my right hand can do, because I can't do it that way. I'm on the certain side of the table, and so I have to take it from this side with this arm, and I'm going to learn something new. And my right arm is going to have it right away. I'm going to be like, oh, easy. And then I get to the other side of the table, and it's hard for a year. And then I don't even notice it anymore, and both hands can do it.
Yep.
And so I think it's not your
It's just
non-dominant
smart.
hand is not the smartest one, but
it's
it
smart
catches on.
to challenge that plasticity of your mind anyway, that neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
It's really, really smart. You have to be careful with what you're saying right now, though, because you're kind of speaking to me so much so that, because like I even used to sit around and practice writing my name with my left hand.
Oh yeah.
Like doing everything left-handed. Like
Yeah.
it got to the point where I was a little bit. You gotta be careful with the obsessions that you might be eliciting. But all right, so we talked about massage, talked about momming, talked about exercise, talked about raising boys. Where can people find you?
Oh.
Or where can they follow? Yeah, where can they find you? It's like it's Halloween. Where can they find you? No, like where can they follow you on social media? That's what I meant.
I guess I don't have a website. I've got a personal Facebook account, Megan Valencia, otherwise known as Megan Mogensen, and I think you can find me there and message me, but I can give you a phone number too, because that is the main way that people get a hold of me. And I've got a regular enough clientele that I don't advertise, and I don't have a website or anything like that.
Yeah, if you have that going for you, then don't pay for the other stuff, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and I kind of want to know, who are you and how'd you get Adam sent you. You're from the gym. Okay, now I know who you are.
You have to vet the people. You're inviting them into your house, and it's not like you're in one room with one person, and you know.
Yep.
Like about the time you get a real weirdo, you're like, 90 minutes with you.
Yeah. And it's even, and this sounds super elitist, but yeah, Adam, don't send me any jerks, you know?
Oh, no.
Send me the nice people that you like.
That is not elitist at all. That just makes good sense. Like let's say people in here, like I've had people where like they come in, they want to join, and I'm like, you can't join.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that I care so much about these people in here that there's no way I would subject them to you. Like you're super negative, you're a jerk, you're like, no. Like
Yep.
You know, like I've had people be like, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I want to work with people who want to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I want to work so I don't want to work on that person that's like, oh, fix me. You know, like I really don't want to fix you.
Do it all for me. You know, like you can't, it's like me thinking that I can do the workout for him.
Yeah.
I can't do that for you. Like, as much as I would like to.
Yep.
You have to do it.
It's part
of the go.
Yep. I need them to go ahead and call Adam like I've asked them to several times, because they've got a very seriously uneven situation going on with their very specialized job.
Like they walked through the door sideways, and you were like, you need to do some stuff on this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, or it just clearly atrophied one calf and overdeveloped other one, and you know, so you know, if you can't, so I can't help you with that calf if you're not willing to try to do something to make it, to build some strength in it, you know.
Yeah, and I think on some level it's about putting people on your team. Like, you're on my team. Like, the massage therapist needs to be on your team.
Yeah.
You know, physical therapist needs to be on your team.
Trainer on my
team.
team.
Your strength coach needs to be on your team. You know, or trainer, whatever. Like, you need people on your team. You know, we have Amber out here. She's a nutritionist. Like, you need a nutritionist on your team.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Takes all those things together to be your best person.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so they can find you at, is it Megan Valencia or Megan Mogensen?
I'm Megan Valencia.
And then on Instagram.
But then on Instagram, it's Megan Mogensen.
Yeah.
And then I get the parentheses on Facebook, Megan Mogensen.
I see what you mean, yeah.
And then...
it is kind of fun. That's one of the, like, I find, like, do you ever scroll through your Facebook friends and see guys' names don't change, but girls' names do?
Yeah.
Like, all the time. You're like, who is Jenny such and such? And you're like, oh, she got married again. Okay.
I was going to keep my last name, but then I fell in love with Mr. Valencia.
Valencia is pretty...
I had to take it.
It's a pretty good last name.
It beats the heck out of Mogensen, no offense to the Mogensen.
It's probably more fun to write.
It's way easier to get people to just know and not have to spell out for them.
You mean Morganson? No.
Which we were just doing.
Less R's. Yeah, because I said that before. I was like,
there are no R's in my whole name.
I was like, was it Morganson? Was it And you're like,
Mogensen.
What can I say? All right. But, okay, so you can find her, Megan Valencia, on Facebook, Megan Mogensen on Instagram. And then you get to see all of her stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm probably a pretty good person to vet through. Like, if you ask me for a phone number, maybe I'll give it to you. You know, if I think you're cool, like, hey, this person's cool. Or, hey, I wouldn't even bother you with like somebody that was like, I'm not gonna send that. I'm not gonna send you.
Tell me about it later.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, and I said,
Unless it's a good story, like you wouldn't believe who tried to get your number. And I was like, no.
Awesome.
All right, but
Thanks,
ready to
Ed.
shut this one down?
Yep.
I'm really glad you're here.
Me too.
Are you gonna do one of those?
No, that was super awkward.
I thought you were just gonna go in for the. Have you seen the turkey? No, put your thumb up. Turkey. Dumb. All right, thanks for being here, guys. Please like, comment, share, ask Megan questions, and I think she might even come in and answer them. Is that right?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'll tag you in them. All right. See you soon.